Hi and welcome to the Happiness Safari podcast. I'm Nadine and my mission is to help nomad entrepreneurs to find their true selves and cultivate a positive mindset and healthy habits on their journey to achieving their goals. I'm sitting here on my balcony in Phuket in Thailand and recording this intro for you. And on today's episode, I speak to Julie French, a digital nomad and authentic relating facilitator. Julie and I met back in Lagos a couple of months ago and we did the interview when I was still there. She understands how solo traveling can be both empowering and lonely at the same time. So as an authentic relating facilitator, she now creates connection circles wherever she goes around the world. She helped to pioneer some digital nomad communities that have trust, vulnerability, and connection. Her circles integrate both depth and play, as she believes play and vulnerability are a great recipe for connection. Julie shares her own journey with authentic relating and offers insights on how to have deep, vulnerable conversation with strangers, build genuine connections, and express your authentic self. She also shares some fun connection games that you can try with friends, partners, or even strangers. By listening to this episode, you will learn what authentic relating is and how to practice it, how to have a meaningful conversation and build deeper connections with others, the importance of being your authentic self and why it matters, tools and techniques for building and maintaining connections, how you can have deep, vulnerable conversations with strangers, what type of questions you can ask to get to know someone on a deeper level. I really hope you enjoy this interview, as Julie and I have both been very vulnerable, and we also do play some connection games for you live in front of the camera, so it's maybe a bit more fun if you listen and watch the episode on YouTube, but even if you listen, I'm sure you will get a lot out of it. Julie is super fascinating, inspiring, and I cannot wait to share this episode with you. Enjoy. Hi and welcome everyone to the Happiness Safari podcast, and today I have Julie here, and Julie is a self-love coach and is helping people to find their joy, and she's also an authentic relating facilitator. And this is how we met, because I've been to her wonderful talk here in Lagos just a couple of weeks ago, and it was so amazing that then I went to her authentic relating event. That was last week. And so I invited her to the podcast because I really thought I wanted to share this with you. And we're going to talk about this. And so welcome, Julie, to the podcast.
Thank you.
Happy to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
This beautiful space.
Yeah.
Having a beautiful lunch with you.
Yeah,
and have a beautiful conversation.
Yes. So we're sitting here looking at the ocean right now. It's there. You can see it.
So beautiful.
But we're in a very, very beautiful energy for sure.
Very inspiring.
Yeah. So, and I know you're leaving tomorrow. So maybe let's start with a question. What are you going to miss most about Lagos?
So much.
Sorry.
First of all, I'm missing what is beyond the camera right here, the ocean view. What I'll miss here is just every time I'm here, I get the sense of purpose, fulfillment, impact, and just I feel a sense of place here. Like it feels like home every time I've come here. And to me, in a way, it's also so foreign. It's Portugal. I don't speak any Portuguese. It's a different culture to me. Yet every time I arrive here, it's like, I'm home. And so it's that feeling that I get when I'm here is just feeling right at home. And the community here is so beautiful. Joanna did a good job of creating community. And a lot of the community from when I last lived here is still here. And so that all of it and more, the energy of this place especially.
So if you guys are watching, you've seen me doing this. If you're not watching and you're listening, it's a sign of I relate to you in authentic relating. So I really resonate with what you said.
feeling very home here, even though, yeah, it is very far away from home and has culturally not that much in common with where you come from or where I come from. But I think a lot of people, that's an assumption, but a lot of people we met here feel the same way about Lagos. And
Very much.
And Joanna, if you listen to the podcast regularly, you might have heard the interview with her. I interviewed her as well a couple of episodes back. And so I will put in the show notes which interview that is. And Joanna is the one who is organizing everything for us digital nomads here. So we can go to lovely talks and organize our talks. I had a talk here, and also Andre, I interviewed 2 weeks ago, had a talk yesterday where I went to. So it is a small but amazing community. So you meet such amazing people from all over the world. And but let's dive into your story if you would like to share a little bit. So how did you start actually becoming an authentic relating facilitator, or how did you even come across authentic relating for the first time?
That's a good question. So how I first came across it, I was living in Bali at the time. And I was actually at this ecstatic dance, and this woman, this beautiful soul, Nora, she came up and said, blah, 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 I have offering authentic relating. It's also kind of known as conversational intimacy, blah, 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 blah. And she just gave a really good description. It's a place for you to feel heard and seen and have deep conversation. And it really struck my interest. So I went to her circle. Oh my gosh, I felt so in place there. And something I've always noticed about myself is that I kind of get a bit, in a way, socially awkward. I don't do well with small talk. I just don't. And I understand that part of it, like, okay, I can understand a bit of it to build rapport and gain some information to spin off of. But if I'm in a room where it's all small talk, I actually become the quietest person in the room. I get a little awkward. And being in the circle with all these people, having just such a depth of conversation, such a deep vulnerability, and feeling safe to just share whatever was real for me and have no mask on and bypass the small talk and be deep into the emotional and interpersonal connection with other people. It was like connection crack. I was like one taste and I wanted more. So then I went and did the facility, or I did the first level. And then I also, a friend of mine who has been a facilitator for a really long time, offered a facilitator training. It wasn't through the big company. It was actually through his own, and I took his training, and it was amazing. And then I went back to the big company, did more as well. So yeah, I just was like, oh my gosh, this is just so needed. So needed.
Yeah, so needed. Wow, thank you for sharing. So what I hear is that you said you don't like small talk. And again, I did it. I completely relate to that. Actually, I struggle with that as well. And so you were in a room full of people and you had really deep conversations. Like, I know how it feels like because I just did it last week. But for everybody who's never heard of authentic relating, could you give description, like you already described it a little bit, but yeah, like a description of what it exactly is?
Yeah, of course. So in an easier way to say it, there's like 3 levels of communication, of connection. There is the informational level. Sorry, that was funny. The informational level is essentially the small talk stuff, who you are, what you like, blah, 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 very like surface level, yet it does provide information about you. Second is like why, it's called the emotional level. It's more deep of an insight into your world, like why you chose what you do, what perceptions you have on reality, what does your world look like, what emotions do you experience right now, like how do you feel about what you do. And the third is interpersonal. It is right here, right now, in this moment, an insight to how we are in this present moment with each other. So an insight into how I'm experiencing this moment, what is showing up for me emotionally, what judgments do I have arise, what sensations do I have in my body, and how do I am experiencing that in this moment with you right here in front of me.
Wow. Yeah, very cool. We could actually maybe do that as an exercise, just to give you a quick example. Let's say we just met at the meetup on Tuesday.
Okay.
So level 1 would be basically, hi, what do you do? Where are you from? Yeah. How old are you? What do you do for a living?
How long are you here for?
Oh, yeah.
Where are you going next?
Exactly. Yeah. When have you been here for the first time? Yeah.
What are you drinking?
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh my God. We did another game at her event, which I really loved, and it was rating questions from 1 to 5. So 1 would be a very boring question, and 5 would be super interesting question. So where are you from? Or what do you do for a living? Or how long are you here for? Very boring question. 1. And then, okay, let's go to the next level. So, why are you a life coach?
Do you want me to answer, or do you want me to do the finger thing?
Oh, you can do the finger thing.
Okay. That would be a 4. For those who can't see right now and who are not watching, that's a 4.
That's a 4. Okay. What was the most life-changing moment for you?
That's a 5.
Okay. What's your favorite animal?
That's a 4.
That's a 4. Okay. I'm trying to get like a 2 or 3. I'm not sure. What do you think about the weather today?
Whoa, 0, 1.
You guys get the idea, right? Okay. But that's still would be the second level, all right? A little bit deeper. If I ask you why you're doing the job you're doing, or why are you in Lagos, what do you like about it, right? That's in the authentic relating.
Yeah,
That's
I would say, like, what shows up for you when you arrive in Lagos? What's a pivotal moment for you being in Lagos?
Yeah.
You know, that you could talk about the weather, but you could actually say, like, how do you feel when it's rainy? Like, if it was rainy for like a week straight, what shows up for you? Do you have any certain emotions arise? Like, or sharing your own experience? Like, I notice for me, when it's raining, like every day, I start to feel quite, in a way, sad or depressed, or I feel like a very, like, I need something more. I need some sunshine or something like that, or what shows up for me, right? Rather than, I don't like clouds.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
totally. Yeah. And then again, it's like authentic relating, right? But you can relate to what somebody says because you go a little bit deeper and you feel what that person is emotionally going through. Yeah. Instead of just having a shallow conversation where you actually have no idea what the person in front of you, like who they are and what they like feel and think. And okay. And then level 3 is being here in this moment, like what we are experiencing right now, right?
Yeah. So it would be relating to your emotion in this present moment, rather than, like, let's say you shared an emotional experience you had in the past, and then I relate to it with an emotional experience of the past. That's not, in a way, very interpersonal, because I'm kind of taking us out of the present moment, rather than like, ooh, I really get that about you. Like, that's really important to you. About what you just shared, whatever it would have been, you know, like something about how I'm getting you in this very moment, and what's showing up for me in this very moment in relation to you being here right now. Yeah. Slowing down.
Yeah.
A life lesson for us all.
It is. Yeah.
Me in particular.
No, we notice that we are all on a journey, but I do think this is such a fun opportunity to get closer to people and especially have a deeper connection with people you've never met and you have a first conversation with, or then even a second or third. But we spoke about this before when we had lunch on the balcony, like, with some people you feel this instant connection, but then you can also deepen that. So I know you maybe better after meeting you 3 times now than someone I've seen, I don't know, every Tuesday for the last 3 months, but I never shared more than, how are you? And then you just say, yeah, I'm good. But you're actually not really responding or really sharing how you are. And I don't really feel I can relate so much to these people than I can to you.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Okay. So and then you've done the course and you learned all these beautiful exercises. And then you started hosting your own events. Was the first one here in Lagos?
So how it started, it's actually a pretty cool story. So I only took a little bit of training by that point. This was during the pandemic when I arrived here in Lagos. And I noticed that, well, from an assumption, but I could clearly see a lot of people were quite unhappy. There was a lot of collective trauma happening for us all at that time. There was a lot of stress. There was a lot of uncertainty, the unknowns. And I know for myself, being here alone, away from my family, worried about everyone back home, worried about the state of the world, what's to happen, what's the future look like. There's just so much unknown. And I think it was really hard for people to be fully like sharing how it was hard on them around people that they were new around, because there's a little bit of this pressure to put on a mask, in fear of being like socially exiled, kicked out of the cave, kind of in our primal ways of thinking. And the fear of being rejected. Like, hey, you see somebody in a coffee shop and you're like, hey, how's it going? It's more like, I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. It's like, really, like, are we really good? How are you really?
Yeah.
And how can we share how we are really with that safety of being accepted in that space? And so I recognized, holy shit, we need this. Like, wow, we need connection right now more than ever. And during that time, it was actually illegal in Portugal to have more than 4 or 5 people together.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I'm not sorry, actually. I completely bypassed that. And I said, you know what? Those who need this will come, and they will come on their own choice. Mm-hmm. And this is bigger than that. We need connection more than ever right now. So, of course, the imposter syndrome was just loud as can be in my head. You don't know enough. You're not enough of a facilitator. You haven't done all the training. You blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I can't listen to you right now. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than me. People need this. So I announced in the group, and I said, hey, I'm going to host Authentic Relating in my flat next Wednesday. From then on, it was for the next 3 months. Every single week, I had between 12 to 16 people in my flat.
Wow.
And it created part of what is the community here today. It completely helped shift everybody's connection, because now we had a safe place to be heard and seen for what was truly going on for us, without the fear of being rejected, without the fear of needing to have toxic, fake positivity. We're faking and pretending we're happy because we're so scared that somebody's not going to accept us if we're not. That was just pushed out of the way. And I knew that I created a space for myself too, to be heard and seen when I could participate as well as facilitate. And it was so transformative for me and for so many others. And still to this day, I'm still hearing feedback from people of how much that shifted for them in that time. And it was just probably one of the most fulfilling experiences of my life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you for creating that. And yeah, amazing. Because I hear you saying you are creating that out of your own pain, but you also see that in others, and you see it's needed. And then you just overcame, the doubt in your head saying that you shouldn't be doing it because there are rules that we shouldn't be doing
exactly.
things. I broke these rules as well in 2020.
Yeah, girlfriend. High five.
Well, sometimes. And yeah, to create something what people really, really needed in that moment. And I mean, you shared one story before, but can you share maybe another one or the same of someone like what changed for them after?
Oh man, which one did I share with you that you found was quite impactful?
Well, you shared the one of the person of the meetup, yeah, and the one I think who then met somebody else and they created something together.
Okay. One guy came through my talks or my workshops last time, and he met somebody in that workshop that he fully connected with. That was just a new friendship, a total bro bonding. And together from that newly bonded friendship, they decided to go into a ceremony together after San Pedro, and they even deepened their bond. And then from then on, it took them on this new journey together of a complete shift of self-discovery. Now they facilitate and help. We do men's groups, and now they also do. They help with psychedelic ceremonies as well, where they help other people who are going into that self-development journey as well. And for seeing them for the first time since the last time I was here hosting these workshops, oh my God, the shift in them is amazing. And that's not because they just met at my circles. That's just part of it, showing communities what the power of community is. this is obviously from what they've been doing over the last 2 years. So it's really shifted for them. And then another story that I really found impactful was from my recent talk. There was somebody that would show up typically to the nomad meetups a little bit shy, a little bit to themselves, a little bit quiet, hugged a little, soft and gently, and a little reserved, and came to my talk that was about teaching conversation tools and how to bring a conversation deeper for more nourishment. And he would show up at those networking meetups and talk to everybody after that, being so much more outgoing. I was shared by people that he was hugging people deeper and more tighter, and just seeing that shift in somebody just because they had that safe space and learned the tools to connect deeper. Like, I don't know what you, but that to me is magic.
Definitely. And sounds like magic. And so for people who are listening now, like, what can they do? Can they just look up like authentic relating events? Are they, I mean, people like you hosting them, or do you have to be in a group or in a community? Or I know you do them online sometimes. Or can you find a website where you, I don't know, find the tools and you could, I don't know, create your own or do it with your friends? Or like how do you learn more if you want to?
Yeah. So there's Authentic Relating International, which is beyond amazing. And they actually have free weekly circles as well that gives you an insight and a practice and an idea of how it is. It follows the 5 principles of authentic relating, or practices, another way to say it, by welcoming everything, assuming nothing, revealing your experience, owning your experience, and honoring yourself and others. We can go deeper into that in a bit if you'd like to talk about what that means. However, it follows those practices which are applicable to life. I truly, truly believe in my heart that if everybody were to learn and start to practice and embody and integrate these practices, it would shift our entire world. Oh my God, would it ever? A beautiful world. And I believe it's possible. Authentic Relating International. There's like mini courses, there's circles, there's level 1, level 2, level 3, even more. There's that. There's also, you can even just, wherever your community is, type up on Facebook to see if there's like authentic relating circle nearby. And I bet you there'll be somebody. You could probably find through the Authentic Relating International group too, that there might be a facilitator nearby. Yeah. Find yourself some people that you can really connect with. Yeah.
Very good. I'll put the links in the show notes.
Yay.
Yeah, very good. And you can maybe go a little bit deeper into the 5 principles, right?
Yeah. So the first is to welcome everything. So this means welcome everything on the emotional spectrum. So typically emotions can be labeled as positive, negative, good, bad, blah, blah, blah. So it's really just comfortable, and there's some that are maybe uncomfortable. But all of them are showing us something. Everything, a trigger, an emotional sensation, a body sensation, collapsing, expansion, everything is showing us something. It's like a little portal or doorway where we can take the flashlight of self-reflection and point it in there and see something that may be needing to be seen. And that's within ourselves and with others in the world. So welcoming it all. Second is to assume nothing. I do like to have one assumption that everybody is on their tender edge, especially when it's in authentic relating. I do invite everybody to be on that edge. So that's one assumption I can make, is that people are on that vulnerable state. However, it's also like when we place an assumption, we are taking ourselves out of the present moment, taking an experience from the past and putting that into the present moment. So really, we're actually going out of the present moment and going back into the past, which is really what's happening. So we check our assumptions, we can actually become more connected with the person in front of us. It is a vulnerable thing to check our assumptions, but we can actually have a deeper connection. So let's say whatever I just said, and you made an expression on your face or something, let's just say that happened. And I noticed that. And I was like, I'm noticing that your facial expression shifted, and I have an assumption that you didn't like what I said. Is that true? I'm checking it with you. Oh no, Julie, a fly swatted back or went by my face or something. Like, oh, okay, thank you. Or maybe, I was actually a little confused there and I didn't want to say anything. Oh, okay, let's talk about that. That just brought us closer together. And the third is to reveal our experience. So if we're wearing a mask and we're hiding behind, fake positivity or we're not being real to ourselves, how are we going to see each other for who we truly are? If I was pretending to be someone else around you in hopes that you'd like me, you never will actually see the real me. We'll never actually feel that authentic connection because of pretending to be somebody else. So revealing your experience, revealing what's true for you. It's edgy, and I invite you to try it out. Mm-hmm. And 4 is to own your experience. So speaking from an inarguable statement. So I'm going to say 2 sentences right now. And I would love to hear, or I'd love for you to reflect on which would be more powerful for me to say. So the first would be, when we get closer to someone, it could be scary for us because it means that we have to open our hearts. Or I could say, when I get closer to someone, it could be scary for me because it means that I have to open my heart. Which one do you feel is more powerful for me to say?
The second one.
Bingo, ding, 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 winner. No, I'm just kidding. But really,
it's about you, right?
It's about me.
And it's not an assumption. If you say we, then you're assuming that it's the same for other people. But if you're saying I, it's very vulnerable because you're sharing something which has to do with you. And
absolutely. Yeah. And it's like numbing down the vulnerability, like by kind of putting like an overall kind of statement on it, we're kind of like numbing our own experience in a way. So it's not as powerful. We're not owning it.
Yeah.
And the 5th is to honor ourselves and others. It's like a little teeter-totter, one eye in and one eye out, and honoring you and what's showing up for you, honoring myself, what's showing up for myself.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah. And it's practices that I've been integrating into my life. And I mean, there are many times where I forget to use the principles or the practices. And then maybe later I'll reflect back and realize and recognize the difference. And I just integrate it, integrating it slowly into the life.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen overnight.
No.
However, it's just like anything. Yeah. Got to integrate it. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we talked about this before as well, that it's something nobody teaches us and we don't learn it in school and we don't learn it from our parents. And actually, we literally have to train deep listening. We have to train how to relate. We have to train to, use these principles. And as you say, you use them in life, not just for an event of authentic relating, but actually, I mean, to go to these events or workshops or have these gatherings is basically to bring you closer together, but also to learn the tools to use them in your day-to-day life. Mm-hmm. And I really like the example I think you gave. You said, whoever you meet, wherever, like you would start a conversation in that way. And that included the 5 why or the 5 questions.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Setting context. Yeah.
Yes, please elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah. So this is actually a practice that I learned from taking a mini course in Authentic Relating International. And it was the Authentic Dating course. And it was led by 𝑅𝑒𝑙𝑒. And he was teaching how to set context. And it was also for dating. And so I was like, oh my gosh, this is so perfect for digital nomads and how to connect with people and networking and how to like set up a different type of conversation that may be more nourishing. And so it's covering the 5 W's, the who, what, where, when, why. And so essentially how I do it is I'll approach somebody in a networking meetup. Let's pretend we're in a networking meetup. Hi. Hello.
Hi. Nadine, nice to meet you.
Where are you from? Just kidding. No. So essentially I would start it by saying, the common narrative or the common conversation in these meetups aren't really nourishing to me. And instead, I'd love to invite you into a game that involves some curiosity. And instead of us telling each other where we're from and what we do and what we like, I want to know like why you do what you do, what you love about it, what you might not love about it, what you love most about where you're from, or why you chose what you love to do or what you're doing. And kind of more of a roundabout way to get into like the underneath of what we're doing rather than just telling each other like, oh, this is what I do. No. I'd love to know like if that seems like something that you would like to do. Yeah. How was that for you? Okay.
But and that's the what.
That's the what and a little bit of the why.
Why.
Yeah.
Yes,
the why. I was curious if you'd like to play this right now. How is that for you to hear?
I would actually love to because I'm so tired of these small talk.
Perfect.
Situations.
Okay. And is it too loud here with the music or do you want to go somewhere over there more quiet or is this okay?
Yeah, we could go a little bit somewhere more
Yeah.
quiet. That would cover the where.
Really agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we had what, when, where, why, who. No.
Who, what, where, when, why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There you go.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And you shared before that whoever you tried this with, like everybody would say yes. Like
I've never ever come across a time where somebody has not wanted to play this with me.
So I think that's the ultimate digital nomad meeting hack, right?
Yeah.
Life hack.
Invite them into playing a game,
Meetup
little
hack.
Connection game.
Yeah.
It's fun. I this is an assumption, but I truly do believe that a lot of people underneath really love play.
Yeah.
Love to dig into curiosity. We wouldn't show up to these networking meetups if it wasn't for that.
Very true. Very true. Yeah, and we said we will play a little game to demonstrate what you can do. I mean, there are so many, so I just played a couple with you, and I know there are so many more. But yeah, to give you a little bit of a demonstration and how that will work. So yeah.
Okay, can we start by taking a deep breath?
Yes.
Okay. You can let it out like an Academy Award if you want to. Ready?
Okay.
Let go. So this is the noticing game. I guess I could explain to them first.
Maybe, yeah.
Okay.
We do noticing game.
The noticing game. So essentially 2 partners. It starts out more as a sentence stem of being with you here, I notice, and you would reflect back by hearing that, I notice. As we're giving an insight into our world. It could be anything from an emotion that's arising, a thought, a judgment, an assumption, a curiosity, a bodily sensation. When I lead it, I like to separate it actually into different groups so that we can have like a whole one on what we're noticing in our body, a whole connection on just curiosity. But right now we're going to blend it all into one for time's sake.
Nice. Okay.
Being with you here, I notice a little bit of like a fluttering in my chest, like almost like a bit of nervousness that we're doing this on camera.
Hearing you say that, I notice that I can relate to that emotion. Yeah.
Hearing that, I notice an appreciation for your eye contact, that you're always so good at your eye contact. I always feel so safe in your presence, especially right now, feeling like very seen and very safe by your presence.
Hearing that makes me feel very happy inside, and yeah, I'm happy that I can provide that. I also feel very safe in your presence. I think also because I told you this before, but I feel very heard and seen.
Like hearing that, I'm grateful for our connection and feel a reassurance of that there's people that I can connect with when I'm traveling solo. So yeah, a deep gratitude.
Hearing that makes me feel very positive for the future and for the world, because I think it's very important what you do and what we do, and to share that. And I do hope that we can inspire people to do that as well.
Hearing that, I notice a curiosity bubble up about like what moments in your life shifted you into this path. And what was it like for you before, or if there was a before? Have you always had this path?
Will I answer that now? No. Okay. This is a game that's new for me too. Okay. Well, yeah, hearing that makes me think about, make me think about my past and that moment. Maybe makes me curious about answering that question and what I would say. But also I noticed that I would be happy to share. There's no holding back in doing that.
I noticed what I'm really getting about you is that you're really connected to this part of this moment of your life, that it seems that you've reached that right away, and that you know about this moment, and it was very impactful for you.
Hearing that makes me feel very understood, which is crazy. That I feel you get that about me without even knowing the story or more about me.
And in hearing that, I noticed that whatever flutteriness I had is calmed down now. I feel really present. I feel really here in this moment with you, and that I feel that our communication here has brought me back, brought me down and calmed me down from that nervousness. Yeah.
And hearing you say that actually makes me relate again that it's the same for me. I do feel very connected and also very calm. Wow. Nice. And then after you hug. Wow. Well, I hope that gave you an insight. That was actually something we didn't try before. We didn't play that game before, and we didn't practice it before. So it really came naturally.
Yeah, it did, because I didn't really give a long or good explanation on it at the beginning, to be honest.
It was completely fine. But wow.
I feel more connected to you after this.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. Maybe a game to play before your podcast interviews.
Yeah, maybe.
I played it with people on a plane before.
Yeah. Wow. With strangers? How?
Sometimes I will say I do place assumptions sometimes on who I feel I can connect to and not, which I want to move past that. And those who I sometimes assume not end up being awesome playing the game and wanting to. And so I'm still working on my courage to ask more people in myself. However, I've noticed it's been amazing, and I felt really connected with the person beside me instead of just this body, the stranger beside me. It's like somebody I know now.
Yeah. Wow. And would you do that all the time? I mean, or would you also be on your phone or read a book when you're traveling, or would you try to connect to everybody crossing your path? Because I think we can choose in so many moments. Also, I know when I just got my nails done, I was like, I could still be on my phone the whole time, or even sometimes in the past, I think I can call a friend, or maybe if I'll be in countries also where I don't speak the language of the person. But then, if I can also have a conversation with that person. And I think there are a lot of studies actually there's at least this one study that they put people in a train, and they told everyone to just be to themselves and be on their phones or do whatever they do, but don't talk to anyone. And then they did the similar test. I don't know if it's the same group of people or different people, but I mean, they let them rate their happiness level after, and then, you know, like, okay, speak to a stranger, and that's not even authentic relating, but just talk to someone, and then the group who actually talked with each other, they were so much happier than the ones who were just to themselves. But what you see nowadays is just that everybody is, and you know, I myself as well, like sometimes with just headphones on and, you know, on my phone. So I'm very curious, how you do that, or how often.
Or when I do it. I think when I have a need for connection and communication, and I think that when I'm noticing that need is coming up, I definitely think that's mainly when I will reach out and do that. Not all the time for me. No, there are a lot of times I like to be quite introverted as well.
Okay.
I consider myself an omnivert, but when I'm extroverted, I'm extroverted. So not all the time, but I would say, more often than not now. I've kind of shifted. But when I'm noticing that need to connect.
Nice. So is there anything about authentic relating I haven't asked you would like to share, you think is important for people to know?
I can't really think of anything right now. In case you're wondering where I keep looking to, by the way, it's the ocean. I just keep like catching myself looking at the waves out there. What's she looking at? I will say, if you have any kind of little inside nudge to go check it out, to any circle nearby you, check it out, listen to that nudge, do it. Like, I'm not here to tell you what to do. However, I'm saying for you to listen to that. If you feel that, if you hear that voice that is curious, dive into that curiosity. I think if we listened and followed our curiosity more in this world, I think we'd have a pretty magical space. I think we already do. I think we can see more of the magic that is already upon us. I think if we had more curiosity. I've had people come through the circle who were unsure, didn't know what it would be like, and now they've become facilitators. I think I've had like 8 people come through who from my circles who have become facilitators now. So we're creating like a tidal wave of connection.
Nice.
It's amazing.
It's amazing. Because when you did your talk, then what did you say was the one thing? Because Julie asked everyone why they were at the talk about, and it was about loneliness as a digital nomad. And what was the one thing everybody said?
Tools. They needed tools for connection.
Tools for connection, exactly.
They need to know how to talk to strangers, how to talk to people, and how to bring a conversation to that level at which is nourishing, where they feel that sense of actual connection.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, so that's what it gives you, is the tools, basically. And I mean, from my personal story, I really can relate, because I was living even in Munich for like 6 years, and that's my hometown, and my family is there. But I didn't really make any deep connections, or I mean, I had some co-workers, and like I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 are still like my friends now, but I really struggled because I wasn't, I don't know, I mean, okay, still in my 20s, but you know, not like super young anymore, where you like go out or you share hobbies or you just meet friends easily. And even though I did follow hobbies and I went to yoga and stuff, like it was really hard to meet new people on that level. And I was like never sure, is it Munich, is it the people there, is it things I'm doing? But I do think that I never really had the chance to meet people on a deeper level. Like, because I do believe now that you could actually connect with so many more people than you think you can, like that you feel, and that's an assumption, but when you play these games or you have these tools, that you feel you have something in common, or you have a connection with someone so much easier. And there are so many more people you can have a connection with than you think you can. So because we are similar just by being human beings, like we don't necessarily have to have the same age or gender or culture or interests or whatever to connect. We can connect just through our emotions and what we're experiencing just on this planet and being a human being and having this crazy life and going through that. And
absolutely. That's one thing I love when we have this circles, especially in like foreign places. Like when I'm here in Lagos, there's people from all over the world here, from multiple countries. And especially during the eye gazing exercise, like I absolutely love that part where people are looking like through to each other, feeling this deep sense of connection, despite this border, despite their different cultural experiences, despite where they were from in the world. Like, it's just absolutely amazing how deeply connected we can feel and how much really is in resonance with us. Like similar joys, similar pains and struggles. We've all experienced similar moments in our lives. It doesn't matter where we're from, how much money we have, what background we have. Like, we're very similar. And I think it's really important for us to look at more of our similarities and our differences. We have less of a divide in this world if we do that. What's our underlying core values? What's our aligning needs?
Yeah, definitely.
And I think too, like going back to that talk of loneliness, I think a huge takeaway for a lot of people was the recognition that it's not about the amount of friendships and the people we have around us, not the quantity, the quality. When I say quality, it doesn't mean like that person's a quality person. I mean more of our quality of our connection with the people. How can we feel an authentic, vulnerable connection with the people in our lives? And I truly feel that having more of that with whom is around us will help to dissipate some of the sensations or the feelings that show up with loneliness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we can feel lonely with our partner if we're not feeling connected to our partner.
Yeah, very true.
I'm loving the spirit fingers today, girl.
I'm resonating with a lot of things you are saying. So and we can definitely experience loneliness even being surrounded by other people. And that's why I came to your talk. So that was because I thought I experienced that in the past. And I mean, now at the moment, I'm quite good with that, but I do know how that is. And I also know that also goes and comes in waves, and it doesn't matter how many people you have around you. And of course, it's a different kind of physical loneliness if you're really somewhere traveling by yourself, being in a place by yourself, knowing not knowing anyone, that I know too. But I also know how it is to be surrounded by people like I do know, and still I don't feel connected or heard or seen, and just very lonely inside. And that's amazing that there are these tools you use to overcome that. So Julie, at the end of the podcast, I always ask the same 3 questions.
Okay.
And number 1 is, what does happiness mean to you?
I have I feel like a little bit of a different perspective on happiness. I feel that, in my assumption, a lot of people confuse happiness with joy. I personally feel that happiness is circumstantial. Happiness comes from the external world, and joy comes from the internal world. Joy is what you choose. Joy is what you create. Happiness cannot coincide with other experiences, but joy can. Like, let's say, for example, you can't experience happiness and sadness at the same time. You can experience joy and sadness. You can experience joy and grief. You can experience joy and jealousy. You can experience all of that at the same time with joy. However, happiness comes from circumstances and moments. Happiness is not everlasting. However, I feel joy can always be a moment. So joy can be a choice. Joy can always be there. And joy is like more of a spiritual connection as well. So I think when most people feel happiness, it could be also joy. And happiness is like chasing that carrot, and joy is that choice. I am the carrot.
I am the carrot.
I am the carrot.
Like
I'm the golden carrot.
carrot.
I'll put it here and be like unicorn.
Oh, nice. And okay, so I usually ask, what do you do to be happy? But you can say, what do you do to be joyful?
Well, I'm still happy too.
Well.
Like it's still something to appreciate. I think it's if we have something what I feel like authentic happiness versus like a synthetic happiness, right? There's that synthetic happiness is like, chasing it through things. Real happiness could be coming from moments, which also could be your joy. But what do I do? Oh man, getting out of nature, huge for me. Being alone by myself in nature, I all of a sudden catch myself singing, humming, and dancing. Nice. Yeah, like I noticed that. It's like I just do it. Like I don't think about it. It just comes out of me. Joy just pours out of me. And so I feel definitely being out in nature, wandering around the world, deep connections with others. Yeah, definitely that is and feeling a connection, like filling my needs and being in alignment with my values, living in a life in alignment with my values. That's a huge part. Yeah.
Nice. What are your top 3 values?
Number 1, freedom. Freedom, definitely huge. Freedom, curiosity, and connection. Freedom, adventure, and curiosity. Yeah, that's it.
Nice.
Yes.
And so the last question is, what was the happiest moment in your life?
Well, this past weekend, I was galloping on a horse on the beach. And I can say that was the ultimate freeing feeling. Like, oh my gosh, just like the wind pulling my hair back, almost whistling by my ears as I hear the sound of the horse's hooves, like do-do-do-do-do, like really fast. Just the waves coming up in the ocean. It was just beautiful sunny day, and I'm just like feeling so wild and free, fully going as fast as that horse could go on the beach. That was a total feeling of joy and happiness. And it's something I've been wanting to do for like over a decade.
That sounds amazing. Did it
this past weekend for my birthday. Yeah.
Where did you do it?
In 𝐷𝑖𝑠𝑐. Yeah. It's a company called Horses in the Sun. And if you have horse experience, which I do, they allow you to gallop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They're amazing. Yeah. So.
Because I went horse riding in Diani Beach in Kenya with a friend, and we were only allowed to what's the one?
Trot.
Yeah, trot. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But we could. Yeah, and that's basically the picture you just described. I think is my kind of biggest dream also to do that. And I completely can imagine you and myself being on the vision. Doing that completely. So
such a free feeling. I think also that and facilitating. Yeah. Facilitating and being that light. Yeah.
And so what about facilitating makes you so happy?
It meets my needs for making an impact. It meets my needs for fulfillment, to matter. Yeah. Impact is a big one for me. I really truly deep down to my core want to help and make this world a brighter, more loving, better place to live. I really, really, truly do. And I feel like I meet all that when I facilitate. Yeah. And very much so.
I think you do.
Thank you. Goodbye, imposter. Goodbye. Don't listen. Goodbye.
Is there a book you read which kind of changed your life or had a huge impact on you?
Oh my God, there's so many. I have to say one.
Yeah.
Okay. I really love The Untethered Soul by Michael A. Singer. Yeah. That's a good one. I think that's a really good one.
Yeah. It has been mentioned once or twice, but it's also my favorite one. I would always mention. Yeah. 100%. But okay, if you could name a second one, which one would it be?
I'm between two. One's personal development, one's about communication.
Which one?
Okay, I'm gonna tell them both. I'm breaking your rules.
Okay.
Dark Side of the Light Chasers by Debbie Ford. It's about shadow work. It's amazing. I like to prefer calling it shadow play because I truly believe, yes, play. It's very important. But anyways, the other one is Nonviolent Communication by Marshall Rosenberg.
Nice. I think they both have been mentioned before. So thank you very much.
Awesome.
I put them all in the show notes and the link of the authenticrelating.com.
Okay.
Yeah. Easy, but still, you can look it up.
And that's not my website, but it's not at all. It's nothing to do with any of my my profession, but it's something that I've gone through in my training, and I 100% recommend it. And then maybe we can also add mine.
Of course, we will add yours. Yes, of course, we will. Also, people can get in touch with you. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, well, thank you so much, Julie, for taking the time, for connecting.
Yes.
And I think it's amazing. You're shining your light and you're bringing this positivity definitely out in the world. And it is very important what you do. I'm very happy you do what you do.
Thank you. I think it's important too. And I think it's important to remember to play through it as well and not take it so seriously and life so seriously.
Yeah.
We can still have depth and play at the same time and have fun with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very important reminder. Thank you.
Hi and welcome back. And I hope you really enjoyed this episode and you're feeling inspired to connect more to others in a more authentic way. And try these games. Look up the website. I will put all the links in the show notes for you. And it really changed something in my life, and I'm trying to use it more and more. So thank you again, Julie, for introducing me to authentic relating and sharing with us your knowledge and your experience. And I'm hoping it's very valuable for all of you. And another way to connect more with you while I'm here in Bali is to offer you online Bikram yoga classes now every Monday at 8:30 GMT time zone. So for you early in the morning, my afternoon, and we will practice 90-minute Bikram yoga together. If you can turn on the heat where you are so you have it nice and warm, even though you are maybe in a cold place. And by practicing weekly, you will improve your body, improve your mind. You will also get a recording no matter if you attend the class or not, so you can watch the recording on a replay and practice for yourself even every day if you like to. And the monthly membership's only 29 euros, and you can, as I said, practice as often as you like. So if you would want to join us on a Bikram yoga journey and start this year with a regular yoga practice, then please send me a message, an email, or on Instagram. I put all the links in the show notes for you, and I hope to see you online practicing Bikram yoga, our favorite yoga, together. Okay, I wish you a great start into the new year, into the new week, and I hope I see you again next week. Love and